Happy Sunday. Hi, guys. Whoops. Good day. How are you all doing? So, welcome to my page. My name is Gina Amy. And it's a beautiful Sunday. Okay, so guys, I have invited my personal person. I've invited a personal friend today on our show, and it's going to be a very good one. So I need you all to stay tuned. Okay. I need you all to stay with me. Okay, so he's Michael, and he is an immigration consultant. So please, you should all bring your questions. Bring all the questions you may have concerning Canada study permit. Michael is already here, so I'm going to bring him on. Hi, Michael. Hi. Hi, Michael. Good to
How are
see you, Michael. I'm good. How are
you?
you?
Good to see you. It's been a while, eh?
It's been a while. Yes. I'm excited to have you today. I'm so
And
excited because I know that you're going to give us so much to take home. So I'm
yeah,
very, very excited. Yeah. Okay, you know what? Let me just invite people. Guys, so if you're here, please do well to tag your friends, and please do well to share this video to your personal Facebook pages and your WhatsApp status. Invite your friends and family to join. I want to see you all tagging somebody to come on. Please hurry. We want to do this quickly, so hurry. Michael doesn't have so much time, so we don't want to take too much of his time.
Gina, how's everything?
Michael, everything is fine. Everything is fine. I just got home from church and I was just rushing through. I'm like, oh my goodness, let's get this done now.
Great.
Yeah. Okay, so guys, I think we are just gonna start this interview.
Let's just get into
Sorry.
So let's just get into it. Yes.
Yes. So guys, like I mentioned, this is Michael, and Michael is a personal friend, somebody that I know. Hi, Anne. Hi, Amma. I'm Popo. Hi. Yeah, so Michael is my friend, and he's an Canadian immigration consultant in good standing. And I have known him for a while now. And so Michael, today, would you please introduce yourself a little bit? Tell us a little more about yourself. I believe people would like to know.
Well, so as Gina has already said, I am a regulated Canadian immigration consultant, and I've been practicing for approximately 6 years. And I specialize mostly study permits, work permits, visitors visas, sponsorship, express entry.
Express entry. That's the exciting one.
Yes, which is basically for time, right?
Yeah.
So basically, that is what I do.
Okay, Michael. So today we are just going to. Michael has a lot of experience, like he just mentioned. He has a lot of experience, and there's a broad when it comes to Canada immigration. There's so much to talk about. But as for today, we are just going to focus on study permit. We are focusing on study permit because I feel this is an area that will help people migrate to Canada. Because personally, I get lots of messages in my inbox, and people need help when it comes to study permits. Yes, so today our discussion is going to be focused on study permit. So guys, please get your questions ready. Just start bringing in the question because we are not going to spend like an hour, I believe. And so we need to give him all the questions to answer them before he leaves here. Yes, okay, so let's, so study permit. Okay, Michael, in general, what is study permit? What is Canada study permit?
So study permits. It's study permits is basically just it's Canadian immigration. Let's say IRCC giving authorization to study in Canada.
In Canada.
Now, people mistake. People probably think that getting a visa, when you apply for a visa and then you come in, it's basically like the permit. The permit is actually what is issued at the port of entry. Now, when you apply for study permit and you're approved, immigration will request for your passport.
Yes.
And they in your passport they affix the counterfoil.
Okay.
Well, it's just a visa.
Okay.
That's we allow you to get on the plane, present yourself at the port of entry,
right,
ask immigration to allow you in. So it's basically, we have given you the authorization to get on the plane. Now you get here, the door is closed. We're asking the immigration officer, please, I qualify to enter Canada to study. Can you let? And then at that point, if they examine you and you qualify, they give you the study permit, which is a paper. And that basically is what authorizes you to study in Canada. The visa is not an authorization to study.
Okay. Yeah, it makes sense. So has there been a situation where, I mean, because you just mentioned that even when you get the visa, after getting the visa and getting into Canada, that is where you'll be given the study permit. Has there been a situation where somebody gets the visa and gets to Canada
and they get away?
And yeah, they're
Yes.
not given the study permit?
Yes.
Oh, goodness, really?
That is why they don't give you the permit in overseas, right? So you get the visa, you present yourself, and at the port of entry, depending on the officer you're going to meet, they question you, examine you to make sure that you're a bona fide student. Before study permit. If by asking questions, if they find out that there's some sort of inconsistencies in your answering, then they basically may delay you. And if they're not comfortable or not convinced that you are a bona fide student, they put on the next plane back home.
Oh my goodness.
Some people
I'm just hoping nobody goes through that.
Well, I have examples for you. I mean, people have, just about 2 weeks ago, for 3 weeks, a student was sent back to Ghana, right? But, not because he did anything wrong, but because he came too early.
Oh, right.
And was not able to basically tell them why he's here early. He was put on the next plane and then back to Ghana, right? So, the visa does not, mean you can
guarantee,
enter. It means it's basically a permission to get on a flight. To present.
Right.
Yeah. So the permit is what is given to you at the port of entry.
Okay. Wow, right. That could be devastating.
That's right.
Okay, so Michael, let's get into the details or requirements to even get a visa or to get here and get a study permit. So this also, this question is also something that people keep asking. Gina, I want to apply for a visa or Canada study permit. What are some of the documents you require? How would you be very sure that your documents you are in right standing before you be given a visa to Canada when you are coming as a student? What are some of the documents the immigration requires?
So before you even think about coming, now, you basically decide, you make the determination, are you coming for undergraduate program? are you coming for a graduate program, or am I coming for a short course? So let's say 4 months, 6 months. Yeah, so you just make that determination, and you have to also make sure that you will qualify as a student. Now, some people are, I'm just using, this is just bad. Some people are 50 years and they're applying for undergraduate program, which to me, if I ever become an officer working on application, will refuse any person that's coming at 50 years coming in for an undergraduate program, right?
Yeah, it makes sense.
That's what happens. Now, before you apply, you decide which level you want to apply to. Let's say undergraduate or graduate, or let's say for a short course. The first thing you have to, do is apply to the school. Now, when you apply to the school, you get accepted. That doesn't mean you're coming to Canada.
Yeah.
It's a stepping stone,
Yeah.
but that doesn't mean you're coming to Canada.
Yeah.
So now, once you get accepted, then you now look at the eligibility requirement. Now, when I say eligibility requirements, I mean your finances. You're looking at your finances. You're looking at your past experience, your past education, right? Because you're going to establish that, hey, I was a student here, I am done, and now right? So you're looking at that. Now, the one thing that immigration look at is how connected you are to your root, like to your country. Ties, basically.
Yeah.
And economic ties to your home country. So if you get accepted into a school, you look at your finances, right? You're also looking at your study plan. Most of the time, they do require that you have a study plan. Like coming for a graduate studies. Undergraduate is not really a big deal, because people are now. If I'm just finishing high school, what plan would I have? You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you're looking at your finances, so when I say finances, let me first talk about it.
Okay. Yeah.
The first thing, as coming from Ghana, Nigeria, anywhere else, the first thing you want to look at is your finances. Who is going to sponsor me? Is it my father? Is it a third party sponsoring me, like my uncle? Or is it a friend? Or am I getting scholarship? Right? Consider that. If it's your parents, then you need to make sure that they will have sufficient funds, because most of the time they are looking at 4 months to 6 months statement. Based on my experience, immigration does not look at just the balance of the statement. They look at the opening balance, closing balance, and then deposits. So if you basically have made lump sum deposits, thinking it will work for you, it may not be the case. So what you're looking at, you're trying to find a sponsor like your father or a third party. Make sure you have the right statement to support your application. And you need to also do is gather all your documents from your past education, right? If you basically completed high school, if you're from West Africa, you have your WAEC results, right? Yes, you have your WAEC results, and I think that's basically it. I mean, if you're coming for undergraduate program, you're looking at your WAEC results. If you're coming for a certificate, you're looking at your WAEC results and your tertiary or post-secondary education that you had before coming. You're adding all that to it, right? I mean, for a graduate studies program, you're writing a study plan. It's not really something that people do, but if you add to your application, it adds weight to your basically outlining why you're coming to Canada, why you're taking the program, of what benefit will that program be to you and your done so. Right? So if you're coming for graduate studies, you're actually attaching your past education, documents, WAEC, tertiary education, and so adding a study plan to it. other thing is your sponsor, the person sponsoring you. It's if it's your father, it's good to also add documents from your father, such as copies of your properties,
Yeah.
business documents, like basically to prove the source of income. So business documents. You add a couple of your his business transactions, like invoices, receipts, and if he's actually into imports and exports, you add some bill of ladings just to pack it and maybe try and get some tax supported. Some people do omit those documents, but don't go right. But if you know and you are aware that if you add it, it's going to help the application, it's better to add it.
Yeah.
So your father's statement, the source of income, like business documents, and prove that there's business going on anyway by receipts, invoices to the application. And then the other thing I also would also tell you is when it comes to proof of, you are actually showing documents. So let me use an example. You are admitted.
Michael, sorry, not to cut you. Before we talk about the proof of plan, you mentioned that, with the statement of purpose, right? You mentioned that the person should be able to indicate that, they should be able to tell why they want to come to Canada and why the program will be of great benefit to them and to their country. Why not to Canada? Why to Ghana?
So, first of all, as part of the eligibility requirement, you're basically proving to immigration that you've actually gotten admission into a designated learning institution.
Yeah.
Okay. And then also you are proving that you will go back home.
You should be able to prove to them that after school you want to go back home.
That is your only time. So the main thing the immigration looks at is your finances and prove that you go home. It's very important. Although they do have programs to support international students when they are done school or to help them stay permanently, right? But at the end of the day, you cannot tell immigration that, hey, I'm coming to take let's say Master of Accounting, and that way, and then you write in your statement of purpose saying, I'm taking that program so that when I'm done, I become employable, I can get a job there and work. I mean,
they don't want to see that.
So you have to prove to them that you go home after school.
Okay.
Right? That's very important.
Okay.
Right? Okay. I mean, if you have any other plans, that's up to you. But to actually make sure you get the visa, you need the immigration that you go home than school. So when we're talking about proof of funds, you are proving to pay your tuition, in that you have living expenses, you have money for your living expenses, you're proving that you have money for your transportation back home.
Okay.
Right? So
okay.
Right? And in addition to that, you're proving that you are in good health. That is why medicals, right? Yes. So proving that you have the finances. When you get accepted into a designated learning institution, obviously you will know how much you're paying for a year.
Yeah.
And let's just say your tuition for a year is $15,000 Canadian dollars. Immigration estimates that your living expenses should be 10,000. So that's about what, 25,000.
Yeah.
If you're coming with a family member, if you decide to, let's say, bring your husband or
your child,
and let's say if your husband and you have a child, so the first person, the first accompanying family member will also need to prove $4,000. So in addition, 25,000, extra 4,000 for the first family member. Second family member is $3,000. So it's adding up.
Yeah.
Right? You want to come with your family. But if you don't want to come with your family and it's just you, you're proving to immigration that at least you will have your tuition plus your living expenses, which is about $25,000. Now, your bank statement should reflect that you'll be able to pay the $25,000. So the burden is on you, the student, to prove to immigration that for the first year, you will be able to pay your tuition. If the school is 4 years, the program is 4 years, they don't really care about the 4 years. But you need to prove to them that the first year, at least, you will be able to pay your tuition.
Yeah.
And also show prospects of money coming in that will cater for the rest of the second year. You know what I mean?
They don't think about you coming here and even getting a job.
No, that you cannot mention that anywhere in your application.
Yeah.
Right? Proving to them that you are financially sufficient.
Yeah.
So you cannot tell them I will work or any of that. So you prove that you can pay your tuition for the first year, and then prospects of money coming in to cater for the second year. You know what I mean?
Yes.
That way, they are comfortable and okay to approve your application.
Wow. Yeah.
So that part is I think that's based on my experience. I think they pay very much attention to our finances and our ties to our home country.
Right.
If you're coming from Ghana, they pay so much attention to that one, right? Yes, they look at your finances and the fact that you go back home. Very important.
Wow. Okay,
so if you're preparing your application, what you're looking at is you're making sure you are enrolled in a designated learning institution.
Institution. Yeah.
And your sponsor is financially sufficient, and you are in good health.
Yeah.
You have strong ties back home. Very important. Right. And if you're coming for graduate studies, I will advise that you also write out a good study plan to support your application.
Okay.
Right? And any other relevant document that you think will support your application. For instance, if you're working, let's say if you're working for, Cocoa Board, you would want to take your employment documents.
Okay.
And some people do have pension. Is it tier 3 pension or tier 1 pension with SNIT?
Okay.
Yes. Some people do have that. So you take the pension statement and attach it to it.
Okay.
All right. And all those documents also actually add weight to your application.
Okay. Michael, so I have a question. So I have a personal friend who applied. I mean, he got admission, and then when he was applying for the visa, I remember very well that I mentioned to him that, you know what, you have stated that you work in a bank, right? But you are being sponsored by your uncle. So there was huge sum in the account. Yes, but he was denied the visa, and I felt as if it was because he didn't, even though you had mentioned in your document, or was it a letter, that you are currently working, he didn't show anything there wasn't any proof of work. So do you think that was the reason why he was he didn't get the visa?
Mostly when they refuse it like that, what they will do is they will check purpose of visit, and then they will also talk about how you are not able to pay take care of yourself when you're here.
Okay.
So the story that he probably told them didn't make sense, in the sense that if your work, how old was the person?
He was like 30.
Great. And that's a good age.
Yeah.
Gotten the visa, and then the uncle was the one sponsoring, right?
Yes.
Normally, if a third party is sponsoring you, they would want to know the relationship. If you can't provide it, right? That is, if you can. If you're not able to provide it, that's fine. Some people will do affidavit, support it in that regard. And by proving the relationship is, so let's say if it's a maternal uncle,
yeah,
get your mom's birth certificate, you get your your
Uncle.
certificate or your uncle's certificate, then
Yeah.
they will have common parents, right? And then you use that to prove the relationship between you and your uncle. Now, the reason I don't have a copy of the refusal, so I'm not able to comment, on it. But it probably will have to do with the fact that you didn't establish strong ties back home, and will go back after school. They may,
Strong ties. I
they
think
may,
somebody even have a question here.
they may have the,
Yeah, you go on.
but I mean, if you don't prove that you have strong ties or there's something that will compel you to go back home after school, then it becomes an issue for them to actually give you the visa.
Yeah. Okay. So, Juliet, I believe that your question has been answered. She wanted us to explain more about the strong ties, but I think Michael has.
So strong ties meaning, so let's just say if it's your father sponsoring you,
Yeah.
and there's enough money in the account. Now you, the person, if you were working in Ghana and you are able to acquire some properties to support it, it's good. If you're married and you're leaving your husband or your wife back home, that's good ties. If you have your own business that you're running, which you don't plan on closing, and you're adding those documents, it's a plus.
Okay.
Let's say if you don't have anything, let's just say you don't have anything, and your father is sponsoring you, you don't have anything. What you will do is most of the time, go online, copy job advertisement in Ghana. Copy job advertisement in Ghana. So let's say if you're coming for business administration, let's use that, and you go online, you Google business administration jobs in Ghana, you'll find a lot of job postings in Ghana. You can actually copy a few of them into Word, write in your study plan, just tell them why you're taking that program and of what benefit that program will be to you and to Ghana.
Okay.
First after school. So you talk about the job prospect and mention that, yes, I've actually copied some job opportunities available after school, right?
Yeah. Michael, I'm not able to hear you. No, I can't hear you.
Did you hear me?
Yes, it's better now.
Yeah. So basically, when you copy those jobs and then you post it into Word and submit it with your application, you're proving to them that, hey, there are job prospects in Ghana after school. I don't think I'm going to, struggle finding a job, right?
A job, yeah.
Those are some of the things you can use in immigration.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
And if it's your father sponsoring, you can also add your copies of your father's properties. That shows that your father is also doing well. Your parents are doing well. You are not basically going out there to work to come and support them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Great.
Okay, that's great. So guys, if you're here, if you're currently watching us, please do well to tag your friends, share to your Facebook pages, to invite your friends and family to also join in this conversation, because it's one that is I think this information will go a long way to help so many people. So please do share. Okay, so Michael, let's come to I think we are done with the study permit. I mean, the required documents to apply for a study permit. So let's say you have done all the application and you finally get a visa to come to Canada. When you come to Canada, what does the study permit stand for? I mean, the visa that you got, right? I think you already mentioned that in the beginning, that when you get a visa, it doesn't even guarantee you getting a study permit.
Yeah.
Right.
Any visa is just a counterfoil. It's like a sticker they put in your passport.
And that's it.
You're showing that counterfoil to, you're showing it to the airline. Hey, Canada gave me this and they want me to show up at the door so that they can let me in. So you know what I mean?
Yes.
It's basically just authorizing you to get on a plane, fly here, fly to Canada, and then once you get to the port of entry and you're done the examination and they feel you are, you are a no risk traveler, then they let you in. You know,
Mm-hmm.
so that study permit is the same thing. You get the visa, you get at the port of entry, you get your study permit at the port of entry, and then now you enter, and then you comply by the law.
Okay. Okay. Oh, somebody just asked a question. So Cynthia says, what are you supposed to present if you're a business owner and you are sponsoring yourself? If you, I think we have already talked about that, right?
Yeah, let me just help her with that. So if
Okay.
you're a business owner, you have your business registration and you have proof of business activities. And when I say that, I mean if you're doing trading, say buying and selling, or you're
Mm-hmm.
providing, obviously you would have invoices or receipts, that prove that a business is still going on, right? So
Mm-hmm.
those are the documents you can use to support your application, right? And most of what, based on my experience, using your business statement, most of the time it doesn't work. It doesn't go well for some people. It depends on the officer reviewing your application. If you're lucky, you use a business account, it goes well, you get your visa, then you're good. But most of the time when you use business documents, if the money in the account it's not really significant, it won't go well for you, right? So I always advise people, if your father is sponsoring you and your father has a business account, get your father to build a personal account and use a
Yeah.
personal, in addition to the statement, in addition to the bank statement, the business account statement, right? So that way, that personal account, was who would have a business and then probably use a chunk of the business funds in the business that you're using to run the business,
Yeah.
fund one person's education.
Education. Yeah.
That means you're closing down the business, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
On this significant amount of money in the account, business account, to support the application. And for that reason, if you take the tuition and then the living expenses out of the account, it's not going to have any impact on the business. Then that's what.
Okay.
But usually, I do advise people to use
Okay.
either personal statement to apply for the visas.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So with the person asking that question, if you have your business registration, if you want, you can get a tax clearance and attach to it, and then your proof of business activities, your business accounts. If you have it, you add it. If you're using your personal account as your business, you can also use that. Right?
Okay.
But normally, it will be great if you have your business account and you have your personal account, and you have enough money in your personal account to support your education, instead of using everything in your business account.
In your business account. Okay. Okay. Wow. So, Michael, what type of permit is needed to work as an international student? So last week, I think 2 weeks ago, I spoke to somebody, one of my lecturers from university, and then he mentioned that, like in Italy, there's a difference. You get a visa, you get a study permit,
Yeah.
and there's a different work permit. You need a document, a different permit to be able to work in Italy. Yeah, so I want to confirm what kind of document, because I know that even though immigration doesn't expect us to work as an international student, when you come, you can't solely depend on the money you showed immigration when you were coming to Canada. You can't solely depend on that. You would probably have to get yourself a job to support yourself. Yeah, you will probably have to get a job to support yourself. So, what kind of permit is needed?
Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, I can hear you now.
When you come here on a study permit,
Yeah,
thank God, every person, every student with a valid study permit is allowed to work
okay.
20 hours during school session and 40 hours after school. But the good is starting. Give me a second. Let me send my daughter.
Yeah, sure. Let's say hi to her. Guys, I hope you're enjoying the conversation. Please do well to invite your friends and family, okay? We need to grow this page and we are doing this together. Oh, Cynthia has another question. Cynthia, I'll get back to you, okay?
Sorry about
Michael,
that.
Michael, we wanted to say hi to your baby girl.
So yeah, back to what I was saying. So as an international student, you're allowed to work 20 hours during school sessions and 40 after, when school is on break.
Michael,
But
that is changing, right?
the good news is
Yay, the good news
is on the 15th, which is
of this
2
month,
days.
effective,
Yes, every international student is allowed to work 40 hours or more.
Great. Ooh, that is awesome.
Is on break or school is in session, right? Which is good, right? Before all these, when you were a student, you only get the study permit, and that study permit does not allow you to work. If you want to work on and off campus, you apply for co-op work permit.
Yeah.
If you need to do internship or something that's related to your course, you apply for a work permit to that effect, right? So, they've made things flexible for international students. So if you find yourself here, the good news is you are able to work 20 or 40 hours, whether school is in session or school is on break.
Okay. So has there been, does Canada give any kind of study permit that doesn't allow people to work?
Yes. So some institutions, that's why when you're applying for school, if some people are so lucky that when you're applying for school, you just go online, you Google, school comes out, the list comes out, then you apply to the one that you think, has affordable tuition, right?
Tuition, yeah.
One thing you also have to keep in mind is the school a designated learning institution?
Okay.
Right? If the school is a designated learning institution, that means that when you get a study permit, that study permit allows you to work. And then also after school, you will be allowed to apply for a work permit, a postgraduate work permit. Some of the schools, when you actually come, so I'll use, I wouldn't want to mention any school's name,
But how are you able to know though? How are you able to know that this school is not a designated learning institution?
When you go on the immigration IRCC website,
yeah,
they have the designated learning institutions, a list there.
Oh, okay.
You just Google and you pick the school. You may be lucky or not, you wouldn't know, right? Some people, they apply and then they get here, then they find out that, after school, I won't be able to work in Canada. I have to go home.
You have to go home.
So people, and once they get here and then they find out, they have to quickly change school.
Okay. Oh, but is it okay if people like come with that kind of situation, they complete the school and while, probably few months before they graduate that school, they reapply for a designated institution? Is that possible?
If you're here and you apply to if you apply to a school and you're able to come in and the school does not allow postgraduate work permit and you have, let's say, 1 semester to complete, yes, you can apply to another school. And if you have the funds.
Right.
But at the end of the day, you would have wasted money.
Yeah.
Do you understand? You would have wasted, if you were in school for 2 years, you would have wasted 2 years of your life and money. Right?
Yeah. Michael, so when in a situation like that, are they required to go back home and reapply, or they can apply while they are here?
If you're on a study permit and you want to change schools, you can apply whilst you're here.
Okay.
Once you get admitted into the other school, if you still have a valid study permit, you don't have to renew it. If you have like 2 months or a month on the study permit, then you have to apply for renewal or extension.
Okay. Well, I have somebody who is currently in that situation, I didn't know anything about her
So the person has
application.
to switch schools.
Yeah.
If because I mean, once she's done or he is done, the next thing is to go home.
Oh goodness. Yeah.
Don't apply school and then start.
Okay.
So ultimate goal is to come here, go through the process, finish school, apply for work permit, and then apply for permanent residence.
Residence. Yeah.
Then make sure that you're getting yourself into a designated learning institution that allows, and then you can subsequently apply for PR after working in Canada or gaining work experience in Canada.
Okay.
Right?
Okay. Okay. So what happens to people's work permits after they complete their studies? I mean, the study permit.
When you're done school, normally when immigration issues study permit, so let's say the of your program is 2 years. Give you the 2 years plus 3 months, right?
Extra 3 months. Okay.
Yes. And that within that 3 months, you are required to either apply for your postgraduate work permit, leave Canada, or apply to a different school, and then apply for a new study permit.
Okay.
You have that 3 months room to do all that. But the postgraduate work permit, you have after school, you have 180 days
to apply for that.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So I mean.
So if you're in Canada as a student, you are required to be in school at any point in time. So January to April, you have to be in school. And then you have your summer break, which is a long break, and then you go to September. If you decide not to go to school in from January to April and start in September, according to immigration, you basically are not complying with the rules. But people get away with it. You know what I mean? Yes, people get away with it, So, they at any point in time, you have to be in school studying. If you can't study, you apply for a visitor record, right? If you think you want a break, you apply for a visitor record. If you want to go back to school, then you go back on the study permit.
Yeah. Yeah. Personally, I feel like people shouldn't take that risk.
Well, some people know. So the thing is, people don't know. Some people don't know. So if you don't know, people don't know, so they get away with it. And those who are not so lucky, get themselves in trouble. You know what I mean? It's basically like when people come here and then you are required to work 20 hours.
They work more than
more. I've seen cases where they send people home just because they did not approve their postgraduate work permit because they found out they were working more than 20 hours when they were in school. But most people get away with it.
Okay, so Michael, what if there's a situation where I know that international students are supposed to do 9 credits a semester?
Yeah.
What happens to somebody who, for some reason, is not able to pay their tuition, and so they opt for doing just one program that is probably 3 credit hours or 6 credit hours? What would be your advice to such people?
Most of the time, the school will tell you no. School will tell you cannot do one.
You can't do that. Yeah.
And most schools will not probably allow you to enroll in JEP. But if you can't pay your tuition, are you a destitute student? Are you?
You are not.
If there's a reason you can't pay your tuition, let's say, like I say, destitute. I mean, if you can't pay your tuition, there's an option for you to apply for an open work permit. But you have to why you need that, right? Some people can be studying here and then all of a sudden they lose their father. People in that situation can immediately apply for work permit. So that will allow them to work whilst they are schooling. Because it's not any fault of theirs, right?
Yeah.
If you find yourself in such situation, yes, you can apply for a study permit, a work permit while you're in school. That makes sense?
It does. It does. But what if, it's not a tragedy, or it's not something like that, and
You need to prove why.
you need to prove, you need to be
At
able to. Okay.
the end of the day, it's at the discretion of the officer reviewing your application to accept your claim or what you're saying, whether they would give you the permit or not. It's at their discretion. Okay. You just have to start by submitting the application.
Okay. Oh, I had this question, but I think we have already answered that. Somebody asked the question. Let's see. Oh, so Cynthia says, which one is better? Which one is better? You sponsoring yourself or someone sponsoring you? I think you have already answered that. That is.
It depends on your age, anyways.
It depends on your
age.
Yeah.
That's just my opinion. All right. Yeah, it depends on your age. So if you are 30, 35, 35, 34, and somebody is sponsoring you, it's okay. Or from let's say 18 and upwards, or even when you're younger than that, and somebody is sponsoring you, it makes sense. But when you've started your family, you have your husband and your 3 kids, and then you tell me your uncle is, or if I'm an officer and you tell me your uncle is sponsoring you, there has to be a reason why your uncle will sponsor you. Because if you don't have the funds to sponsor yourself, and then how do you take care of your family? Yes. Yeah. So normally I advise people who are married and have a family, I do advise them to do their own application, like sponsor themselves instead of third party. But some people have actually done application and it went through, just because they are right. Because they were lucky, right? So if you can have an uncle doing so well who has probably been taking care of you for so many years and wants to support you in that regard. You can have that person support you, write a letter or do an affidavit to support the application. But at the end of the day, it's at the discretion of the officer. But such an application, I most of the time don't have confidence in such an application. Although some people have actually gotten approved in that. I most of the time don't have confidence in such an application, but it goes well for some people. But so I always advise people, hey, if you can sponsor yourself at that age, if you're in a relationship, or if you're married and have kids, work on sponsoring yourself rather than go through a third party, right?
Okay. Yeah. So Frenzy, I do not understand this question. He says, does the schools on Google give all that? All what? If you could please come again with your question, that would be great. So somebody says, if you sponsored someone and the person is already in school and you also apply the same year, will it affect your visa application? The person is already in school, in the same school, Cynthia?
So the question is, if she sponsored somebody and she now wants to apply herself, is that
for the same? Yeah, probably in the same school.
No, I don't. I don't think that will have any impact on your application.
And you can use the same bank statement and everything to apply.
At the end of the day, when you submit your application, they look at what you've presented.
Somebody says his uncle is the richest in the family.
Sorry?
Somebody says his uncle is the richest in the family.
Well, that's good. If your uncle is the richest and wants to sponsor you, yes, it's possible, but you need to prove a lot more.
Yeah.
Back it with the reason why he's sponsoring you.
Okay, so Michael, how many times can one apply for a work permit in Canada? Like, okay, let me use myself for example. I came to school, I'm done with school. I applied for work permit. I was given 2 years. And after 1 year, instead of applying for my permanent residence, I didn't do that. And then the 2 years expires. Am I able to apply for another work permit?
No, postgraduate work permit is only issued once, and,
Once.
and you cannot apply for extension, right?
Okay.
So people who come here to do 1 year program, so let's say graduate certificate program, you are issued a 1 year postgraduate work permit. If you do 2 years of school, you are issued like what, up to 3 years, I think. 3 years.
Yeah.
Now, if you have the 3 years, you need at least, if you want to qualify for CEC, that is a Canadian Experience class, you need at least 1 year of
Work experience
in Canada, right? So if you did that and you still did not apply for go into the express entry pool to become competitive to get an invitation, then you're going to have to go on a visitor record, apply, to extend your stay as a visitor on your permanent resident. So you have to stop working immediately.
Wow.
Yes, because your permit's expired. So you need to stop.
Right.
Right?
Okay. I have this question. Let's see. So, Michael, if I'm a married woman or a married man in Ghana and I want to come to school and I came all by myself. Later on, is it possible to invite your family to join you here while you're schooling?
Yeah, when you're granted a study permit and you have a family, I would say it's a deal breaker for you.
Ooh,
Because
nice! I'm excited.
Because you can actually, if you can actually bring your spouse on a work permit, on an open work permit.
Okay.
Yeah, whilst you're studying, you can bring your spouse here on an open work permit and bring your kids here as visitors, right? The good news is your when your kids gets in, they are able to go to school for free.
For free.
Right? And when you're granted permanent residence, they all get theirs. So you can always bring your family. If you're on a study permit, yes, your spouse can come on a work permit.
Open work permit. To be able to work as many as they can.
Wait to complete school before you bring your spouse. You need to find a job that is NOC O, that is a skill type O, A, E, before you can apply for open work permit for your spouse to come in.
So it's always advisable to even bring them while you're still in school.
If you can do that, that'd be
best. Yeah, and that is easy. I mean, who doesn't want that? Oh wow, interesting. So guys, I'm still waiting for your questions. If not, I believe we have touched on the most important areas when it comes to study permit. Yeah, I think we have done 1 hour already. It's been 1 hour. I didn't even realize. Yeah, so guys, do you have any more questions when it comes to study permit? I mean, Canada study permit. If not, then Michael, do you have any other thing? I think in the beginning, somebody asked for your number. So guys, Michael is an immigration consultant, and he joined in with his business page. So if you want to contact him, feel free. I think do you have your number on your business page?
Yeah, it's there. You can find my number there.
Okay, so guys, yeah, he has his number there. Visit his page. Do follow his page as well. Text him if you need help with anything. He will be willing to help. Yeah. Personally,
Cynthia has a question here.
Cynthia, okay.
How
do you extend your study permit?
Yes, Cynthia, extending your study permit is very easy. You need to be enrolled in school. Get a new offer letter of acceptance from the school. And then once you're inside Canada, extending it is very easy. Make sure that you are basically complying with the rules or the laws. All right. You need a acceptance letter to support your application, and then your transcript from previous semesters. And then you can send it in for extension. It's not really difficult when you're in here. It's difficult when you want to come in.
You want to come in. Okay.
If
Yeah.
you're
So
applying for a study permit, the good thing is what you need to do is make sure you have strong ties, something to tell immigration that will compel you to go back home, and then your finances are okay. It's very important. All right. And then if you're coming for graduate studies, like I said, have a well thought out study plan written to support your application. All right.
oh, do you show proof of fund? Yes, you do. I believe so, right, Michael? Yeah, Cynthia, you do, because even when you are reapplying, you still show something like that.
Yeah, if you're actually applying for it, you need to show that you can still pay. But they don't really pay too much attention to it, compared to applying to come
In the
in.
beginning, yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, guys. So Michael, he has his WhatsApp link on his page. Do well. Just feel free to text him. He will respond. If you need his help, he will do that. And if you get the opportunity to complete your application through him and you come to Canada, let me know. Give me a shout out. Come on, come here. Let me invite you and tell us your experience in Canada. Yeah, Michael, I think you will have to come here again.
Yes.
We definitely have to talk about some other topics some other time.
Anytime I will. Just let me know ahead of time, and then we can plan.
Okay. All right.
So, yeah,
Thank you, Michael. What? Sweet Mara. How do you mean? Are you asking his name?
he's probably asking for my family name.
Your family name?
Michael. I'm a Ghanaian. Michael.
Michael Wilson. Okay, so Michael, I think that's it.
All right, so
Unless you have to.
Of your day, it's PM at my end.
Yeah.
Now,
Sorry?
what time is it?
It's 2 p.m. So much a 1 hour pay.
Yes. All right. So it was nice having this chat or this conversation. And
thank you. Thank
right.
you so much, Michael.
Right.
Thank you. Okay, bye. Oh, great. Guys, I'm very happy. I'm happy Michael joined us today. I believe this has helped you all. And thank you all for joining. Thank you all for joining. I thank you so much. Yeah, so again, my name is Gina Amy. This is my page, my personal page. This is what we do on this page. We are just trying to help people who want to relocate to Canada or even other countries. And we also do invite people to share their experience as international students wherever they find themselves. So please do well. Actually, do well to email me or DM me if you want to come on my show. I'll be glad to have you. Thank you so much for your time. Do well to share my videos to your friends and your family. Thank you, guys. Bye.